What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. But this video is entitled The Flaw with Gender Fluidity. Partially inspired by BGS Ibmore. Salute to you. You know, much respect. Here's the thing. Wanting gender fluidity, people forget that the concept is what you want and not what the genders are biologically wired to do. Okay? So you can try to program people if you want to, but there's some things in it that might not work too well. What do I mean by that? See, people think genders and gender roles. Well, genders and some gender roles are interchangeable. You know, it's not. You can see a man who cooks and cleans and does housework. That's not. That's not to the point where men are like, oh, I can't never do it. No, like men can do that. And you can see women who are aggressive or assertive and go-getters and competitive. You can see that. But here's the problem. When you do it and your prime objective is to practice on emulating the opposite sex when you're doing it. See, a man can cook, clean, nurture kids, be loving and caring, but in a masculine way. When you start trying to emulate a female or a woman or a mother, that's when the flaw kicks in. A woman can be competitive, assertive, self-reliant, but when you start trying to do it in a masculine way, that's when the flaw kicks in. Now, I was watching something. Shout out to Ask Nathaniel. He does interviews with ladies, and it's funny because you see this gender fluidity more so with the ladies than the guys for the most part when you're looking around social media. And the beautiful girl, she was talking, but she had a diddy bop. I don't care, guys don't want to see that. And I've seen this more and more and more over the last few years where you got women who want to speak about gender fluidity, but they want to act masculine, but be dressed, and they lose their femininity. You really don't want to. No man really wants to be with a chick who's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, and I just feel like, that it can all go down. You know what I'm saying, but I'm a lady. No. Ain't trying to hear that. I don't even understand how you don't see me as a lady. I'm not trying to hear that. Right? Just like the reverse, when you see guys online who feminize themselves publicly to, to come across more, I guess, empathetic to the opposite sex. And you see the guys, the way they talk, the way they act, the way their gestures go, you're like, you could have just said all that without acting like a girl. And see, this is the flaw with it. You can't be a manly man and a tom girl and at the same time. You can't be a feminine woman and a tomboy at the same time. And this is what people are trying to do. And I've said this before, double-minded. A double-minded man is flawed in his thinking, because what you're getting is people who want to vacillate between masculinity and femininity. And they're expecting people to fall in line to when they decide to jump from one side to the other. Nobody ain't got time for that. I mean, nobody. Nobody, like, you were born a boy, you was raised to be a boy and raised to be a grown man. People gonna expect you to be a man. That's what it is. You was born a girl, you was raised to be a girl, a woman, a young lady, or a lady, and that's what people are gonna expect of you. All this, well, I get to, I get to flip flop at my convenience. That's the flaw with it, because when the two sexes deal with each other, that's the problem. See, somebody has to be the masculine and somebody has to be the feminine, right? Masculine men want feminine women. Feminine women want masculine men. Even even masculine women don't want to be with feminine men. You get what I'm saying? So this fluidity doesn't really work out in a practical sense. If you got people who are in a same-sex relationship, one wants to be masculine, one tries to be feminine. That's the issue. So even if you're dating the same sex, you can't have two of the same thing. That's what opposites attract mean. Masculine and feminine are opposites. They attract to each other. All this other stuff is just BS. Now, when it comes to the gender role part of it, here's the other issue. You only want to hold on to the gender roles pros and not their cons. See, the fluidity stops when, it stops in a biological sense, because a man can't be gender fluid because he can't give birth. He can't be a mother. A woman can't be gender fluid because she can't get another woman pregnant. She can't be a father. Nature cuts that out, right? But people are trying to push that envelope. The other thing, our minds work differently. See, just because you feel like you can operate as both, you won't be able to. A man won't be able to think like a woman, and a woman won't be able to think like a man. It just is what it is. You can emulate as much as possible, but it still won't be the same. The same thing with the bodies. Our bodies are designed completely different for completely different functions, and there are things that are easy for us men that are very difficult for women, and there are things that are easy for women that are very difficult for men, and that's how you're physically built, right? But when you're trying to say, oh, everything goes together, no, I really don't. Everything isn't fluid. And people are trying to make things unisex that aren't unisex. It just, that's the flaw in it. Like, some things just are not unisex, period. And, all the practicality of this is, there comes a point where if a man tries to emulate a woman, it's certain things he just isn't capable of and won't be able to do, period. Or he won't be good at, period, because he wasn't built to be good at. And there are things, for women who try to emulate men, there are things that you aren't built to do that you won't be good at, period. And I think about that when I think about letting those transgender guys into female sports. They're beating the brakes off of these girls. They just tearing into them. Why? Because they're actual dudes. That's what it is. And now it's unfair. Of course it's unfair. But imagine if you actually dealt with a guy who actually could tear off into another guy. it'll be way worse. You know, so the fluidity has a major flaw. You know, we don't learn the same. We don't gravitate to the same things. You know, we don't, you know, and the thing about it is, especially men don't want women's roles. Men actually like men's roles. You know, we're not because of quote unquote the power dynamic, but it's because of that's how we're naturally wired. We naturally like these things. Boys naturally like going outside and playing with other boys, and you know, the cops and robbers thing, and climbing trees, and being hands-on and being physical and being assertive and being self-reliant and getting our respect from each other through contact and mental sparring in competition. We like that. You know, women don't necessarily like that. And you see a lot of women trying to do it, but they have a lot of breakdowns along the way because that's just really not who they are to their core. That's not their nature. You know, women, what their core is, we don't naturally gravitate to. That you don't get it. Like, you know, that's why when you're boy, you don't hang out with your girl cousins or your sisters, and you don't really hang around your mom like that because that's naturally not your thing. Like what the ladies do, that's what y'all do. We not like, it's like, we gotta be here right now, but this ain't us. So the fluidity has a flaw because ultimately we're not built to be the opposite sex, and this trying to make it so is utterly ridiculous to me, but it's what's going on. I mean, it happened in the 80s with androgyny. Didn't work out. Went right. It got ultra hard after that. People forget about that. People like, no. We getting real, you know, ultra masculine after this, because this androgyny is just not working. No. So, this is my opinion on that. We out. Peace.